want to make another point here about this too is that whenever you are facing dire statistics, a winner looks at those statistics and he says, all right, how can I use this to my advantage? And what is it that the statistical anomalies did to be successful? When you look at, hey, starting a business, the failure rate and this, whatever is, let's say 80, 90%, whatever it is, right? What did that 10% do to be successful? What were their actions? See, I want to be part of the 10%, not just assume I'm going to be a failure because most people failed, right? Approach your dating life a bit like that too. You know what I mean? Like you have to because women today are so, we'll say, I don't want to say they're all broken, but they're put in a bad mental framework and a bad paradigm of how things should go. And guys too, unfortunately, in a different way. You have to, you can absolutely have peak relationships with women, have great times, even if those relationships don't last, you'll have no regrets. And then you can have relationships that do last too. People do it all the time. So even the promiscuity statistics, this doesn't give women permission to have bad behavior. This doesn't give you permission to create more difficulty for yourselves by taking women on that have problems. But there is a smaller percentage that we're able to be successful and will teach you the things that'll allow you to be that smaller percentage. There's a
Yeah.
small percentage of people, like 10% maybe, give or take, depending on what study you look at, that are happy long past the 8-year mark in their long-term relationships. If you want that to be you, or just to have, girls be in your frame and be super excited, have great experiences, there's the game stuff, there's the frame stuff, there's things that you can do, right? And there's, if you're a woman listening, there's things you can do to bring your value up, even if you have had bad behavior in the past. But the first step to all of that on both the guy and the girl side is to recognize the problem. All right. So if
Yeah.
if your girl's gone through a bunch of bodies, that's a problem. You got to
Yeah.
recognize that and then go, okay, what are we going to do about it? Right. If she's has a past that's not conducive of having healthy relationships, she needs to make herself a good woman by starting with recognizing that problem. I haven't had a good model and I made a lot of mistakes in my past, and I'm trying to figure out how to do things differently. A girl who says that is demonstrating value and capability. A
Right.
girl that blames everybody else, which most of them will do, is probably not worth, taking them on for anything long term.
No, definitely not.
And so, yeah, I want to make that point because I have girls that get like really discouraged, but that's also a cap too. It's like, well, I'll never be whatever because I did this bad behavior. So I guess I'm not going to work on myself and just be the same hoe. Like, no. Okay. Like, no, you can do things by finding your value right now today. Right. And so if you're not seeing that in this girl that you want to save, guys in the audience, then she's not worth saving. She doesn't want to
Yeah.
be saved. Rap song, whatever. Okay, that's rap lyrics, I think. All right, so going on to the
I'm going to read this real quick. Kathy Vega says a very good point here. The issue is also women aren't being taught to truly support and uplift men. It's true.
Yeah.
Instead, they're being taught to treat men as nothing but a rite of passage, conquering them with the hope men will want it. Yeah, women, they are looking at men, because here's this thing: the reality of America now, we've gotten so far down this cycle of boredom. You have whores raising whores. And it's sad to say, but that's just exactly what we're having. You're having single women who are destroying families, taking their families, like initiating divorces, literally just like the destroyer of families in America are women. And then you're having them raise the children and then treating the son, you're bad, you're evil, you're just like your dad. Girl, don't trust dad, don't trust, any men, all men are and you have these two broken members that you're just sending out into society. And the statistical the data is there as well. When a child is raised by a single father, there's almost no difference between a single parent household, or excuse me, a two-parent household. But when a single mother raises children, forget about it. Their kids are gonna go to jail. They're gonna be involved in drugs, sexual promiscuities earlier on in life. Like the list goes on and on and on. So you have this broken women raising broken women, and there's really no stopping to this cycle unless you get educated as a man and you focus on yourself. You become high value enough. Which really, what is high value in America? Don't be a fat fuck.
I know.
Have a job,
So easy.
show up on time, go to
Yeah.
the gym, and manage your finances and manage your diet. That's literally it.
Yeah.
That's it. You're high
That's
value.
it. The basics. And that's interesting you mentioned that because I've had a number of experiences where seeing certain women, like I obviously been with an embarrassingly amount of women, so I have a lot of experiences personal, right? And seeing where the moms were conditioning the daughters to be these basically to be these very sexual, promiscuous, controlling, type of women that are horrible for any kind of relationship. And then there's the guys who are their ex-husbands and their fathers and, stepdads and all that are just letting these women run the show. So
Mhm.
I can think of one particular incident with somebody that her mother, she'd been through a number of marriages, very controlling, also very miserable, and it's sad because that was her model on what she had learned on how to protect herself and how to keep herself safe. Her safe world theory involved never submit to a man, never let a man have sexual power over you. She took her daughter and her daughter's friend when they were in high school still out on vacation out to Jamaica to go get now this wasn't the reason she, of course, she's not saying she did this to take her daughter to get railed, but that's exactly what she was doing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, daughter wins a twerking contest that weekend. Daughter's, ends up hooking up and getting, we'll say Jamaican. Okay. We'll just say Jamaican. To my
You
Jamaican
got black.
brothers,
You got really
big
got black
mouth
pilled.
alpha widowing women across the land with your Jamaican, parts of your body. So
Oh,
18 years old in high school,
God.
mom is like taking her daughter it's like she wanted her daughter to be alpha widowed and to never ever have any sexual submission to a guy. That was what she wanted. She promoted her daughter to be out living her best life and you have a good time and you don't need to whatever. I mean, that's the model. And of
Right.
course, she, was a broken person in her relationships and had terrible behavior and did manipulative things to try to get power over her partners, because she couldn't submit to a man. She couldn't see good outcomes to, to being in a guy's frame. So she was always domineering, always trying to control, always trying to do those things. And it's sad you see that stuff. And the moms, are now we're several generations in of
Mm.
moms
And,
making that happen.